My name's Emily Baruti, and I have twin boys, George and Teddy, who are 10 and a half years old. We've been coming to Reigning Grace Ranch since they were probably about 4, and we first discovered it when my friend's special needs ministry brought us up here for the Cowboy Sunday, and we immediately fell in love with Reigning Grace Ranch. After we came to Cowboy Sunday, we had heard that how beneficial horse therapy was for our boys. They both were diagnosed with autism, and we had heard that it was so beneficial and helpful, and my sister actually does it in Washington, so I knew all about it and knew that it was really something great for them, and she was encouraging us to do it as well. And we started out with Christopher helping us, and it happened that one of our boys, George, really just took to Christopher and worked. They worked together really well, and it was just, I think, God's perfect timing for George to be participating in horse therapy, and I think the connection with Christopher was amazing. So we just let Teddy take a little break for a while, and George and Christopher took off, which was really nice for identical twins to have 2 separate things and have, and that was amazing, all the way from riding, which he did every time, but also the therapy that takes place on the ranch, even just being around the horses and around the stacks of hay, and of course, my boys' favorite thing in the whole wide world is cows, so they let us get to know Norman. Norman was actually probably the thing that drew us here first. Madly in love with Norman, and would have to see him before we did anything else. And then Woodrow came along, and Houdini. So that was another huge part of the therapy that took place aside from even riding on the horses. Now that we're back, we are working with Sage, and my favorite thing about Sage working with the boys and us doing our therapy with her, which they're both doing it now and absolutely thriving, is the assumed confidence, the knowing that they're in there, knowing what they're capable of. And as soon as the boys felt that, they did anything, gradually, step by step, that Sage was encouraging them to do or working on teaching them to do. And they just know how much she believes in them, and therefore that fills them with the confidence to actually get on the horse, which Teddy never would do before. That's one of the reasons that we had taken a break from it. Even just from getting on the horse 1 week to riding on the horse and regulating his body on the horse. And that carries over to regulating his body when he's dysregulated in other situations. And just listening and following her and seeing someone work with them and not being fearful of any dysregulation or upset that they might have, and keeping them going and encouraging them, that just comes through and shines through, and I believe is why we're able to ramp everything up each week and keep them moving each week and growing every time we come. Reigning Grace Ranch is when you immediately arrive, you feel God's presence. Everything about it is about the Lord, and He is at work here, and you can feel it with every second that you're here. It just draws you back in the way I believe that we're drawn to Him and His beauty and people who love His creatures and His animals and His children and His adults. I think that being here just takes you from the rest of the world and reminds you what's important. I think that going, just walking and knowing that each one of these horses has a name, is known by name, and as much as you can know about a horse is known about them and cared for and loved, which allows them to be amazing with the kiddos who need them, and just being a part of something that God has created and is growing by the minute.